No chaser.
Nightcap Knowledge, Tuesdays, 9 p.m. Central.
Checking in. DJ George Shuck on your Facebook, on your Twitch, we're on your Twitter, we're on your YouTube. We are everywhere. It is Nightcap Knowledge, hosted by yours truly, Mr. Mac, and the legendary, the international Tanya Boyd Cannon. Ladies and gentlemen, we have an awesome show tonight. We've got Delmarina López, Esquire, City Councilor at City of Chicopee, Massachusetts, and also adjunct professor at Bay Path University. But before we get into all of that, we got to get some shout outs. Shout out to the Rage Room right there in Jacktown, Jackson Rage Room, Central Mississippi's original rage and relaxation room. Located on Terry Road, you can reserve your room to rage at rageroomjacksonmississippi.com. One time for the official water of Nightcap Knowledge. Refreshing taste, keeping it simple. It's Aspire Pure. And certainly we got to give out the major shout out to the Mississippi School of Health Services and Careers. Begin your career in healthcare today. You can check them out online, mshscschool.com. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Nightcap Knowledge. It's time to put the kids to bed. We're going to put something on your head before you get into bed, baby. Nightcap Knowledge is starting now. I got my buttons mixed up. I'm sorry. I got my baseball shirt on.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
All right. What's up, people? What's up?
Wagwan.
Hey, you got to unmute yourself, dog. You got to. Oh, Mr. Mac.
I hit the button. Hey, man, I was digging my shirt, man. And, I got excited. I was looking at my shirt.
Oh, that's a nice shirt.
Man, this is a nice shirt, man.
Those are really
I don't know
nice.
what people could do. How could they get a shirt like this? Where would you go?
Man,
I know. I don't have one.
You don't have one?
Be at the shindig this weekend.
At the shindig. Got it. What about this hat? How you get a hat like this? I'm just trying to understand.
You can be at the shindig this weekend too. You can get a
shindig.
I got it made.
Oh, yeah.
You got it made. So you can get this whole little ensemble right here with the shirt and the hat from I Got It Made.
Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Tougaloo. Hey, come get your apparel. Come get it from your official.
I'll wait. I'll wait. Go ahead. I'm
Go ahead.
sorry.
What you about to wait? What you about
I'm
to
gonna
do?
wait till my music check in. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait.
Oh,
Got some
shuck
music.
it.
You ain't got no roadcaster though.
Oh,
You got no
Huh?
road. You ain't got no roadcaster. Can you do this?
Damn!
oh, hey
Hey,
everybody. Hey man,
all
you
I
right.
don't
gotta
need
welcome
I don't
everybody
need
to
a machine. I got the voice within.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey!
Look. Hey, look. I can't compete.
Hey man.
I ain't gonna go.
Oh,
I
he.
can't compete. Hey, but
Hey
look,
man.
I got that little person I gotta go check on. So I'm gonna let y'all kick it.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
look,
Yeah, go check on
check
the
on
guy,
him, and
man.
feel free if you guys are interested. Let him come and sit in and just chill with us before we leave out.
Okay.
You know, I think
All right.
that'll be good for him, so you can talk to him and see how he been feeling.
Okay. I'll do
Yeah,
that.
that'll be a reward to him.
All right.
Oh,
I'm gonna lead this up, but I'm gonna pull
go
myself
ahead.
out. That was
There
she
you
said.
go.
Get out. Get out. All right. Hey man. Welcome everybody to the Nightcap Knowledge Show. Real talk,
Wow.
real issues, real solutions. This show is definitely the show that you need to be watching. So go ahead and share this with your friends and family. Check it out. We're gonna tell you like your TI is. TI is. So we jump off with the mental health minute for the week. It was definitely something we talk about. That's very, very, very important. I said, is faith without work is dead. So we haven't,
Yep.
make a plan, put some work in, continue to have faith in your deity, faith in yourself, but also what would be the plan that you are going to put in place to make sure that it becomes a reality, that the dream becomes a something that you can touch and see, and make a plan of action and continue to work. Um, so that's what we want to continue to press upon people. Faith without work is dead. So you got to continue to do it. But believe in yourself, and believe in yourself that you can achieve your goal and what you're working on. All right. Now, Tanya, what you drinking over there?
Golden milk.
You in this damn golden milk.
Let me
Is any
tell you.
alcohol
Look.
in it?
Let me tell you. I have been on this healing journey and working out, and it's great. We're talking about mental health because I had a mature moment this week. In fact,
Mm.
last this rising, yeah. Um, and I shared it with Chuck this afternoon. I have been going hard in the gym, just like really, really going hard, being intentional, and ended up working out so hard yesterday that it brought me to the ER because
Oh,
I never
wow.
never dealt with sciatic nerves and things like that.
Oh,
Oh, but baby, when I tell you I was in tears.
I understand it.
And so it's amazing how the times that we're in right now with the harvest, the hunter's moon, I call a harvest moon, as well as a full moon, and ancestors always ever being present. I had a moment where I listened to self, and self was, yes, you're being intentional, but you're not overstanding. I need you to understand that, yes, like my husband would say, you ain't young no more. And I was like, boy, I am young. Age ain't nothing but a number. And
Hmm.
so I would, have these responses to him. And he would say, you can't work out like you used to. You can't do it like you used to. All I was hearing was, I am not old. I am still young. I can do whatever I want to do. But my
Mm.
body was saying, yes, you are aging. However, you still can apply it, but your approach to it has to be different. And so the overstanding of understanding that, yes, although our ages increase, the wisdom is already surpassed that if we sit still and listen. So I had to listen
So
so I
the
can
so
overstand.
your ancestor was speaking through John, and you ain't listen to
Oh,
John. So,
what?
but not listening to John, you ain't listen to your ancestors.
At all. At all. And
Hey,
they just came
hey,
and smacked me right on the back of my left ass
hey.
cheek.
But guess what? Hard head make a what?
Mm. I'm sitting right now, oh, sitting so comfortable with a pillow wedged up against my left side. And so the golden milk has been very therapeutic for me because hypertension and diabetes run prevalent in the Black communities. And it's based on all of what we eat. And also, sometimes it's not so much of what we eat, it's hereditary. And I've never dealt with hypertension, but I've been seeing my numbers increase. And so my doctor was like, take a break from coffee, find something different. And so I've always been into turmeric. I've always been into ginger, always been into cinnamon, which are all natural spices from, our
Mm.
native lands. And so I just started doing the golden milk about 4 years ago, but I wasn't intentional about doing it. Now I've just gone in the kitchen. I just whip it up. Don't even look it up. I just whip it up and I know what to do. Thank you, ancestors. Thank you, Almighty. With it. And so turmeric is an anti-inflammatory. Cinnamon, black pepper activates the turmeric in the ingredients within turmeric. And then ginger is also an anti-inflammatory, and also it's great for shucks, I can't remember. It's the immune system. So having
That digestive health.
so having these products within the body, we break down a lot, and it helps us to avoid having to get prescription after prescription after prescription. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So you know what else is good for the body?
hmm
Scotch.
I got some on my counter. I'm just not drinking it right now.
They got, since it's
Come on,
Founders Week
Glenn
at
Levitt.
Tougaloo, baby.
Come on, Glenn
Founders Week
Levitt.
at Tougaloo. We got to jump out there with the Glenn Levy. Got to have the
Come
good
on.
stuff.
Come
You
on,
got to
boy.
have the good stuff.
Don't have me go over there.
Because I know we drinking Jack all weekend. Big shout out to Larry Lincoln Legged Obama. we are drinking the Jack all weekend. We're definitely going to be making some jacked ups. So we're going to be a big shout out to Larry, Jack Daniels, and all the brands that's associated. Brown Farmer as a whole. Definitely big shout out to them. Man, hey, we have found our niche, and we like Gentleman Jack.
Oh yeah.
We like the apple, we like the honey, we like all the different Jacks, and we will have a lot of them this weekend as we celebrate Founders Week. But speaking of Founders Week, it's time for your music check-in.
So with our music check-in, I am happy to report, man, so much is happening around the city, so much is happening within our city, so much is happening around the world. And with that being said, music has always been therapeutic. And because we're coming up on our Founders Day weekend in in Tougaloo, Mississippi, within Jackson and Ridgeland, you got to know it, be there to understand it. I'm so excited to be able to share that I was clowning at the paint, what is it? Pink Friday celebration. And, somebody had the nerve to come up and, was like, thee I love, thee I love. And I'm like, what's the name of your school? They're like, JSU, Tougaloo in the audience. And then somebody was like, only thee I love. I was like, hold up, break the music. Drummer, go with me. Give me that brown beat. Give me that 4 on the floor. Let's go.
Yeah.
And so I went, Tougaloo, Eagle Queen, we love thee. Mother Eagle, stir thy nest. Round thy eaglets to the breezes, they enjoy the taste. Man, when I tell you they had nothing to say but screaming, Thee I Love had to just give it up for Tougaloo because we had a moment. So coming up this weekend, y'all already know you need to be outside the building and inside the building.
Where we need to be at?
Tougaloo College, baby. Y'all need to be over there by us.
We're going to be what? Outside.
Oh, we're going to be outside. Oh, we outside. I didn't know where to go with it.
Yeah.
We're going to be outside, and we're going to be having us a good old time out there, making sure that we give in to everything that we love and sharing. We got the tailgate party. We have the brunch. We have, let me see. I got everything. Wait, hold up. I don't know if Chuck put it up here for me, but I know
we got a lot of flyers. We got
look, they out there.
We got the concert block party that Friday night.
Yep.
And on the lineup, it's going to be hosted by Mr. Jordan, comedian from Tougaloo College, also a man of Alpha. We're going to have Miss Bridget Shields, Miss Tougaloo College in 1991. We have Ashley B. From representing my hometown. She's performing. We also have DJ George Chuck on the 1s and 2s. And we also going to have my tail dog, Mr. Anthony Archie, aka Dub Ruffin D.O. Dub, doing his thing out there. So this is going to be a free event behind the Health and Wellness Center It kicks off at 7 p.m. Live music. We got food vendors. I'm telling you, and we taking it back home. We taking it, keeping the country with the food vendor. They doing heavy catfish plates and
Heavy.
fries,
No, you gotta
chicken
say, you
chicken
gotta
wing
say,
plates,
you gotta
heavy,
say heavy,
heavy.
heavy.
They also doing fried okra, and it's gonna be a real type of deal. There's no rolls. It's light bread. If you don't know what light bread
Hmm.
is, you're not from the country. And plenty of hot
Oh,
sauce and ketchup.
go
So
ahead. Go ahead and tell them what light bread is. Go
you
ahead and
know
tell them
that
what
that
light bread
that, that light bread, because cornbread is heavy, but that
is.
light bread, that sliced bread, that's the light bread. You know, i.e., white bread or wheat bread, but it's light bread. You know what it is. We're gonna tell you like a TI is. We're gonna have a great time. We have vendors out there. We will have the jack. The jack will be ready for you. Come and get it. And we also have our frat brother, Mr. Matthew Haynes, Blue Sky Still Waters, and he's going to be providing massage therapy. It's going to be a very therapeutic, fun event. And it's going down, and it's going to be behind the Health and Wellness Center on Tougaloo College campus this Friday. But this Saturday, we're going to be outside.
We outside.
And it's
Listen.
the Tougaloo DJ reunion. I'm talking about the originators from the What's Up Wednesday, from DJ Shane O'Mac, DJ D, Undeniable, George Chuck. Everybody's gonna be in the mix, but the
Yeah.
the person that's gonna be on the MIC,
I'm
none
gonna
other
be
than
DJing too.
TBC.
Ew, ew.
TBC,
Look,
where we gonna be at?
look, we outside. We're gonna be outside too. Look, I'm trying to find the flyer and put it up because Chuck left us in charge. You know, you can't leave certain people in charge, when you go out of
We
town.
we we are it. They can't leave us in charge out there because we
Boy,
mess around and
I'm about to
we've
go
been
get a shot to
we'd
drink
have
a
been
shot.
tore up some shit. You leave us in charge.
Too late. We already on this thing. So hey y'all.
Look, I just sent you the flyers. Look at the check
No,
your
I
message.
got it. I got it.
Oh, you
It's
just
just
don't know how to push it over.
no, I'm putting it up now. That's what I'm converting
Okay.
to. I told you Chuck left us in charge, so this what
Oh
happened when
no.
he put us in charge.
Hey man. Hey. And then a part of the weekend, in we always talk about celebration. There's multiple types of celebration. We're gonna be celebrating friendship, fellowship, but also we're gonna be
Mhm.
celebrating the memory. Chuck and I, our freshman class, classmate, the brother Will Jenkins, he's transitioned. They had his homegoing services this past weekend in Macomb. But we're going to be celebrating his memory this Saturday at tailgate. Tailgate set up and starts at 11. We're going to do our balloon release and recognition for him at 11:15. If you knew Will, he was up there in Runner Hall with us. His cousin with his roommate Al Goins. So we got that flyer too. But we asking all Tougaloo right now. Tougaloo is known for providing support to our folks and extending that hand of fellowship and being a family. We are going to be supporting his daughter by making donations to her cash out, Miss Caitlin, 15-year-old. And right when she got ready to have her first homecoming experience, she lost her father right at that same time.
Mhm.
And you see a lot of
Mhm.
videos of fathers walking their daughters in homecoming events. And right at the same time when she was getting ready to participate, she lost her father. So
Yeah.
big shout out to Tanya and her
Yeah.
big heart. Her mother wants to thank you, another fellow alum, Chandra, and your donation and giving to her. And she was like, this lady, and said she just woke up the next morning like this lady donated some money, gave me some money, and she's very thankful for that because Tool has a motto: history meets the future, right? So
Yeah.
we continue to groom the future to understand this is what we do. We take care of our
Yeah.
own and we show support. So whatever Tanya figured out, we're gonna put
No,
all the
it's
flyers.
I'm doing it now. It's just
Quick.
uploading.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's up there. We could definitely talk about it at the end of the show. But one thing I've learned
Mm,
is that again, children are very bold. And I
mhm,
was watching this clip today about this kid. Her mom punished her because she got
mm,
put out of Sunday school.
mhm,
Now, the mama asked her why she got put out of Sunday school, and she said that because she told the Sunday school teacher that her husband be stealing out of the church, the
altar.
offering,
Offering, yeah.
the offering pan. And I laughed, right? I laughed, because I was like, wait, what? How she know this? And then she said, what else she told her? She said, I told her he was stealing out the offer prayer, and that's how y'all bought y'all new Lexus. Now, exactly, you laugh at it. And her mama said, well, where you found this information out? She said, from somebody else's mama. So when she said that, what made me, think about was, we always say, be careful what we say in front of children. But we also never ask a child, what do you see? What goes on? What's happening? This could have been what she heard from, her friend's mama, but she also could have seen something and just didn't know how to formulate the words to say it. Children go through a lot. Children experience a lot. They don't know how to verbalize how they're feeling, and they don't know how to express that. So the way they do is they either act out. And so I feel that with this child, Caitlin, I love you, baby. You and your mama, Chandra. I send y'all my prayers and thoughts. I don't even know this baby. I didn't have to know this baby, but I do know this baby because of the Tougaloo, we were family. So when you hear that school, that name, you don't need to know where they're from. As long as you know they're Tougalooan, that's what we do. We stand behind each other. And the same thing goes for all my Dillon universities. Like I love hard, I give hard, I celebrate hard. And with that being said, celebrating is a great thing to do. And I'm so excited that we're celebrating tonight. This is why we're here, because she made her story. Man, she made her story. This sister represents the finer Zeta Phi Beta sorority incorporated. Y'all know I had to wear it for my soror and my sister, bringing to the stage the first Afro-Latina person of color to be elected in the city council of Chicopee, Massachusetts. Look, y'all already clapping, y'all already celebrating, y'all already giving it up, y'all already saluting. Make some noise for my soror, my sister, Delmarina López. Yeah. You're welcome, 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 welcome. Look, we got so much going on in this world, so much negativity happening, so much call to action and call to order that's taking place around this world, that tonight is her story. You made her story. You're making us proud. You're making us stand up even more. And to say you're not even 30 and you're doing something that your ancestors started, but because we don't give our ancestors credit of not speaking up, because at the time they couldn't, right? Because if they did, that was cost them their life or their family member's life. So they still had that zeal and that power within, but what they did was they pushed those energies to the next generation, and they pushed those traditions to who we are today. And you are proof of that. You have done what, yeah. Look, I am honored. I am inspired. I am motivated to know you and to call you not just my soror, but my sister and friend and my elder, because what you're doing is what I follow. So I appreciate you. How are you feeling?
Well, first of all, that was entirely so sweet. I was not ready. Also, it's interesting because, like, you say that you're my elder and I follow you, but also, like, in your realm and what you're doing, there's so much about you that is the elder, not just in age, and that we all follow. That's the beauty of sisterhood. I think that's the best part. I think we mentor each other. Yeah. Not just by being friends and by being sorors, but by respecting the work that we each do. So thank you for that. But the feeling is definitely mutual because you're kicking behind in your own way too, sis.
Thank you so much. I told you, Mac, I'm doing shit. Look, Mac is our friend.
You always doing shit. Who said you're not doing shit?
You always. A finer woman is doing stuff all day,
every day. Hey, what's up, Sabir? We got Sabir.
And probably starting some shit.
Laura Riviera. Welcome as a nightcapper. So yes, I don't start stuff. I just finish it. But anywho,
I start stuff and I finish it because sometimes you got to start it for somebody else to finish.
That part.
Hey, well, guess what? Yep. Guess what? I'm making blue juice for this weekend.
I'm not drinking any blue juice this weekend at Tougaloo Eagle Queen. I need to get back to my hotel. So I'm telling you, we're cutting up this
I'm
weekend.
still like looking at these flight prices, like, does one go to Tougaloo this weekend?
Look, it's gonna be one to remember, one to celebrate. And I mean, look, we have so much more that we're planning. So don't fret and don't feel like you're gonna miss out. But
I'm gonna miss out. That's not the question.
Oh
I
yeah,
will
yeah.
miss out.
She's
There
going
we
to miss.
go.
She's
I
going to
was
miss
trying
out.
to I was trying to make it, a bit positive.
Hey, and Chuck is making apparel on the spot. You come get you some. And then we got some big stuff happening. We have been tapped to do a podcast for this national food network that's going to be doing some great things at Tougaloo, and they'll find that direct in, and we're going to be doing that as a part of, and they're doing some big things at Tougaloo when we're talking about these food equity. So we got a lot
Yes,
going on this weekend, and we
yes.
got to. So I'm telling you, this is definitely the place. Tougaloo, 500 West Carolina Road is definitely the place to be. The former
I'm gonna
slave
find
plantation.
You
yeah.
see the
Definitely the
difference?
place to be.
Mac is like, get your behind at Tougaloo. And you're like, it's okay,
I
sir.
know. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. Look, I try to
that's
find
okay.
this, silver lining. Look, Sabir said, "Oh
No,
snap back, I'm gonna need."
when you see Tanya post and she out there Saturday and hair flying everywhere, and she gonna be out there, and then you gonna be looking like, but she
Hair
told me not
flying
to come.
everywhere. I'm dead. That reminds me of that recent like reel that came out on Instagram where the girl was doing the podcast and her wig just fell. Did y'all see that one? Oh, it's a good one. It's a good one.
Oh, you
She was
gotta
talking
show me.
about how God has never failed her, and it was like this whole thing, and she went from church to hood real quick. Like her wig just slid off
Like,
clean.
thank you, God. Oh, yeah, in one in one breath. Look,
Yep.
Mac. Sabir said, "Oh snap, Mac. I'm gonna need a bottle of hell behind, sir, for the blue juice." So we're not gonna have no wig snapping. We're not gonna have no hat
No.
hair. None of that. We're gonna have us a good time. And look, I'll save a bottle of blue juice for you. Um, uh,
Severe side.
I know. Look, I'm gonna try to put two bottles up because look, I still have your shirt. A lot has been going on. When you're making her story and you're inspiring, other Black women, other Latino women. It's like you don't know what to do. What got you motivated into this field of politics? What led you there? Because I know our principles are, what we stand for, and what led you there?
So I think a lot of things did. And I think when I try to pinpoint the one thing, I just sent you the reel, by the way. When I
Okay.
try to pinpoint the one thing, it's impossible to do. I think a lot of small things lead to where we are in life. And a lot of it is like not even my plan. I say this all the time. I'm like, this was God's plan. This timing was not my plan. A lot of things timing were not my plan.
Mhm.
I didn't know when I graduated law school, I didn't know if I was going to be able to stay around, if I was going to go take a job somewhere else. But then my sister got pregnant and my niece was born right as I was graduating from law school. And my niece is my whole life. Like I love that little kiddo
Mm.
so much. Um, and so
Mm.
I stayed in my community where I had worked for so long. I had been involved in politics since I was in high school. I had been involved in campaigns. I had run a local mayoral election campaign for an election happening in a city next to Chicopee. I had been involved in senator campaigns and you name it. I mean, I had been doing this work. I had interned at the governor's office. I interned for
Mhm.
the secretary of the state, and then I worked for the secretary of the state. So there were a lot of little things that were slowly preparing me for this moment, even though I didn't think it would be happening right now.
Ah, so you went in with the understanding of what you were doing. However, you didn't know that God had something so much bigger for you, prepared for you.
Right. I thought
So
maybe I could run in a few years. I mean, I don't know. Anytime I try to put a timeline on anything, God's like, psych. So
yeah,
I know more. I'm like, all right, God, whatever. Like I ain't even planning it. Whatever you say, cool.
what they say, if you want to make God laugh, write down your plans. Tell God what
Facts,
you're gonna do, right? So if you
facts.
want to make God laugh, when you entered into the arena, because we just was I just learned that it was National Mental Health Week this week. Um, I feel like it should always be National Mental Health Week, day, hour, because it's so running prevalent in all communities, but especially in the Black communities. We've seen a lot of mental health illnesses that have caused deaths. Right? What kept you grounded as you took a step into that next door, that next room, and then the next room, and then the next room, and here you are creating a room? What kept you grounded? How did you stay balanced? What
Mhm.
caused you to not lose your mind?
Yeah, it was hard. I will tell you, it was definitely hard. But my mama was a big part of that. I have a really good support system, and my mom, your mom just knows when something's up. Like she'll call you and she'll be like, "So what's wrong?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about? Like you just got on
Mhm.
the phone. What do you mean what's wrong?"
Mama
Um,
knows.
she always knows. They always know. I swear we have like this joke where we're like, it's brujeria. Like, I don't know who's telling you. God ain't talking to you this much. Like, how you know what's up? But she definitely keeps me grounded. And she keeps me grounded with the truth. And sometimes the truth is like things I don't want to hear. Sometimes the truth is
Mm.
her saying like you're doing this wrong, or her saying you could be doing this better, or you're letting yourself down by doing XYZ. Is that true to yourself? And sometimes the truth is like, I'm proud of you. Come cry. I made you food.
Ah,
My favorite truth is like, did you eat today? Like that one is like my soul. My soul feels that love. And so
wow.
I think grounding, sometimes people take grounding as like this like positive, positive, positive. But for me, grounding is also like reality check. Um,
Yeah.
I also have a really good support system, like in my sister and my friends. I have friends who are like ride or dies, like we ride for each other, and I think that's really important. And not just sisterhood in terms of like my sorors, but like sisterhood in terms of like those friends that I can call up, and it could be midnight, and I'm like, I just need a vet, and they're like,
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead, and like vice versa, or it's like we need a vacation, like let's go on a girls trip, whatever it is that you need. Having those friends who ride or die for you is like chef's kiss. God knows what he does when he puts people in your life, and you always meet them in the weirdest ways too. Like Laura, who's on here, I met Laura in like the most random ways. It was this like overachievers conference is what I call it, but it was like they took the top Puerto Rican students across the country and brought us all to New York, to Hunter College. And Laura and I were on a panel together,
Hmm.
and then ended up sitting on the board together. And we were the only girls on the board. So like by nature, we had already kind of bonded like by being on the panel. And when you're in New York, you like have a good time with folks. And we have very, very, very similar backgrounds. Like we're both we come from pastoral families, like we're both PKs, and we both really understand what that means in the real world, and how that affects us and affects how we view life truly. Um, there are so many similarities, but we met in like the weirdest ways, and then that person became like one of my ride or dies. Another
Mm.
one, Liani, who I've been friends with since I was like 12. And we became best friends instantly, and like bonded over art and music, but also like bonded over the trauma that we were enduring at the moment in our lives. And the rest is history. And these are people that like throughout my campaign, for example, like they were cheerleading. And that is so important. Like in every step of your life, it's so important to have people that like keep you grounded personally, career wise, that are
Hmm.
you as a full person as you're doing this. I think a lot of what happens, and this is even just like local politics, like I ain't even famous, like I can't imagine what it's like for celebrities who like have
Hmm.
to, they get put on this pedestal, and like I walk around and I have to uphold an image as a public figure. But then there are these people who like see you at your core for exactly who you are, and like
Hmm.
understand that you're flawed and still support you and love on you. And if that kind of support
Mm.
system doesn't keep you grounded, I don't know what does.
Yeah, yeah. I heard you say Laura, Laura. I never can say it right.
Laura.
La, Laura,
Like
Laura.
Laura.
I know, but I can't roll. I don't have the
You can
the
say it like with a D, low key.
Laura. I said it
Laura.
right.
Laura. Yeah.
Laura, Laura. Okay,
Yep.
perfect. Because I met a Laura. It's amazing how Spanish and Italian are so phonetically sound because Laura is the same thing in Italian. So that's why I was like, okay. It's amazing you have her as a friend and you can speak of that, because I think people, a couple of things you said, I think people forget that friendship doesn't have a time limit as far as when you meet someone and how long you've known someone. You can have somebody you met within a week or 2 weeks and you feel very safe with that person and they become a friend and family. And then you can have somebody you've been friends with for a long distance of time and they don't show any of the qualities of a friend until they want something. So that's not a friend. That's a, an associate or just a moocher. Whereas, you explain what a true friend is, and you're a PK. So I too am a PK. Chuck is a PK. Mac just old school. He granddaddy. That's what we call him, daddy.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm an interesting PK though.
Hey, I was at the church just like everybody else because my uncle was the deacon and superintendent, so I have no choice.
Oh,
almost a PK.
Yeah, so he was a honorary PK.
Yeah,
right.
That's too much pressure. I could do that.
It was a lot of pressure. You're right.
Too much pressure.
And so with that,
and they always was bad as hell. I just want to add that. All right.
No, so
we were good. We had leadership qualities that were just misunderstood.
And not only that, we had that pressure placed on us because of that title. So people never looked at us as kids. They looked at us as preacher's kids or the pastor's kid. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And so with that came a lot of other social disparities that I know I had to deal with in my adult life being a preacher's kid. Because the question, there were 3 stereotypes. Oh, you're a preacher's kid. You know what they say about the preacher's kids. They the worst ones. And preacher's kids do that. Like they always had the title to go along with who the face of the person was. So with you being a preacher's kid, how has your because I know your faith and your power in God, I feel it, I hear it, and I see it. With your faith in God and your connection to God and relationship, how has that played a role in your continued growth as well?
Yeah. And this is also like, we have these conversations all the time. Like me and Lara literally talk about this all the time for like no reason, but just like dissect why we act the way we act. I was an interesting PK because, so for me, the pastoral figure in my house was actually my mom, not my dad. And so that changes everything. And so she was like head of deacons, which is a pastoral position, but my uncles are all pastors. There's a lot of them are still pastors. And like, I have 14 aunts and uncles. So like half of the family is pastors. So it was like a ton of pressure, but I also grew up in a home where like being a PK didn't mean a whole lot of oppression in the same way it does in other households. Like my household has always been extremely like LGBTQ friendly / ally. Like my mom always taught us to love everyone and that like God does not like cast everyone to hell for being something that like is just who they love. We also were just like not very judgmental in that way. We weren't raised to, follow like some of the norms. We were allowed to think for ourselves. And so for example, I'm someone who like I hope and pray that I'm never in a position where I would have to make this decision for myself. Like I hope and pray that I would never have to get an abortion. But I also believe that like every woman has the right to make that choice for themselves. And so that's a really hard construct for folks because they get so wound up on their own personal beliefs that they don't understand that doesn't have to be your political belief. But the kind of household that I was raised in allows me to say, yeah, my own personal belief is I hope I'm never in that situation. God forbid. But there are always like but-ands because who knows how I would feel if I was a victim of rape and ended up pregnant. There are so many ifs,
Right.
So I pray that I'm never in that position, but I also recognize that just because my own personal beliefs are to not do that, that doesn't mean that in policy we should be acting that way or creating policy and law in that way. And so I think my PK household is interesting because for a lot of people, it makes you really hardcore Republican, like staunch Republican, like, anti-abortion, anti-LGBTQ. And like, there's others of us on the other side of the spectrum, which I feel like I'm privileged to have this experience, which allows me to just think for myself. And regardless of what I feel, regardless of what my thoughts and viewpoints are, like I'm allowed to have them. And sometimes they differ from the people in my household, from the people in my family. There are conversations we don't have at the Thanksgiving table. Unless you make a sideways comment, because then I'm going to correct you at the Thanksgiving table.
Hello.
I was allowed to be a free thinker.
Yeah. Lauda says that being a PK makes it hard to make real friends. People are fake or afraid. So happy to be able to find vulnerability in sisters.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. And it's just amazing to be able to have that freedom and peace of mind to talk about it. Because Chuck and I are always going back and forth about PK. I feel like I've known Mac and Chuck since 2005. And Chuck and I, all three of us have worked on a lot of projects, but I know Chuck and I talk every day. And just to hear the growth in both of us as understanding that it's not religion, it's relationship. And your relationship will look different from whomever. However, if I'm standing literally Saturday, I had a Hindu brother who asked me when he heard me sing, he said, "What is it that you feel like? How does that come out? Where do you go?" And I told him, I said, "It's my connection to God." And he said, "God, Christian?" I said, "God, I'm relationship. I'm not religious. And I said, I could celebrate your God, you're Hindu. I could celebrate your whatever you celebrate. I am free because we all serve one. He just looked different to all people, right? So
Yeah.
at the same time, like you said, your family taught you to love everybody, to give that love and to respect that love. And so for Lauder to share that, because people will be fake because they try to get up next to you and be afraid because they don't want to lose positions or lose their seat in the church.
And I think so that's where I'm at now too. So like I'm also at a place where like I don't have like a specific church home. Like one of
Mhm.
my friends is now an ordained minister at a church and I go visit there every now and then. But I got away from it because a lot of church hurt does happen. My childhood was riddled with it. And so I think it
Mhm.
also, so that's the other side of the coin, like the pressure that came with being my mother's child. That pressure, it was toxic, but also like helped because I work really well under pressure now because I
Mhm.
understand that my whole life has been pressure. But it was also toxic because it was a lot for a little kid, to feel like, the things that were really leadership qualities. And now they make me successful and effective. Back then they were like, you're rebellious. You don't like authority. You don't know when to like not question the adults. And it's like, just because you're an adult doesn't mean you're always right. But when you're a kid, that they want to ingrain in you that you just like submit to authority the way you submit to
Mhm.
the Lord. And it's like, that's not how the real world works. Like, let's talk about this. And no one wanted to have the conversation. So there was definitely like the other side of it. I was definitely that kid that people were like, ooh, like she's a bad influence. And then I'm like, look at your kid now.
Hey, so being that bad, rebellious kid that they thought of to be a 25-year-old Afro-Latina Puerto Rican attorney, the first person of color to ever be elected to serve on the Chicopee, Massachusetts City Council. Being that rebellious, bold child that mama taught you how to ground yourself as a kid has led you to this position. And we are so excited that you have made her story, mama. She did that. So, how many days have you been in office and how has it been?
I don't know the exact count. I do not keep track, but it's been since I got sworn in on January 2nd, I think it was. It's the first week of January. It was like the first Monday in January. Um, I got elected in November, but you don't get sworn in until January.
Right.
It's been a wild ride, a roller coaster to say the least. A lot of it was like learning on the spot. And a lot of my colleagues on the council have been there for so long that they could do most of this with their eyes closed. So for me, I had to just like figure it out. um, and like I can't say that they all weren't like helpful. Like if I had a question, they'll answer it. But sometimes you don't even know what question to ask. You just gotta figure out how to do it while figuring out what the question is. So some of that has been challenging, but I'm open to the challenge. I think I've learned a lot in the past few months, and I'm excited to see what else I learn. I think I take them by surprise a lot, which is I find some joy in that because I think at first that they just thought I was gonna be this like kid who knew nothing, and
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
all right, That's cute. I'm a kid who knows nothing. Let's see how long we ride this out. And then
And,
suddenly they realize she's not a kid who knows nothing.
and
She's
I'm gonna
actually
say,
an instructor. And I don't know if they love that, but we work
yeah.
together.
So you're the only Afro Latina. How has the love? How has it been? How have you been feeling with the love and support you've gotten from both your African American family and your Latina family? How has that been? Have you met any kids or had a chance to share? Because I saw you at your high school recently, and so how has that been?
And that's been really great. And so I think that's the beauty of being Afro Latina as well, that like as that in and of itself, like the fact that they see someone who identifies as Afro Latina in this
Hmm.
position allows them to see themselves in that. And I think
Hmm.
oftentimes Afro Latina is not a word that's used with folks in politics. At least around here, it's not. And so that in and of itself is like the kids are super adorable. They're like, oh my God, she's a counselor. But I make an effort to like go out of my way to also have these experiences. Like on Thursday this week, I'm going to be doing children's like Latino Heritage Month read aloud at a elementary school. Like little kids are my heart, so I'm like when they asked me, I was like, yes, absolutely. And I'm really excited. I'm gonna be reading a book about this character named Julia who dances bomba, and the
Hmm.
author is Raquel Ortiz. I actually just the book just came in today. And Raquel, another full circle moment. I met Raquel at Hunter College when she was presenting to us a couple of years ago, where I met Laura, and she's a children's author. And I specifically chose that book because once again, like my goal is for the kids to see themselves, in
Mm.
everything they read, to see themselves in the positions of power, to see themselves everywhere, so that they know that their possibilities are endless. So I'm very excited to read that book. That book is in Spanish and in English, so I'm probably going to read like one page in English, one page in Spanish. I've been to the high schools multiple times. I'm involved with the social justice charter school in our city. I'm pretty heavily involved with them. I was their convocation speaker. I go there. I mentor some of the youth there. The youth and like the kiddos, not only are they my heart because I just like gravitate towards children. I was a nanny before. Like kids are my jam. I love kids. But aside from that, like if we are, I wish that I had seen an Afro Latina in council when I was their age. I wish that I had met more attorneys of color. Nevertheless, women of color. Nevertheless, Latina women. I mean, I knew like one. And this was like right before I went to law school. I knew one. I didn't even think about this as like, oh, like this, some people don't see this as a possibility because I was always told like follow your dreams, but some children like don't have the kind of household to like introduce them to those career paths. They've never seen it. And so for me, that part is so crucial because not only do I now also have to act accordingly, like everywhere I go, I have to remember that a little kid is watching.
Yeah.
At all times, but also it allows me to help mold them. Like I'm not your parent, but I am someone who you see and you're like, wow, this is kind of cool. And now you think that this is something you can attain and achieve. And it's like what you think is what you become. So, yes, think that, know that, because you can do this too. And that part is so important to me. It's actually my favorite part of the job.
Wow. Chuck Mackey, I have any questions because I don't want to hog the interview.
Look,
I'm loving this.
y'all been talking like we ain't even over here, man. But it's
I'm
all good 'cause
sorry.
I'm
Look,
enjoying the conversation.
we don't see this. You know what I'm saying? We don't get to have a
Exactly.
conversation with
I ain't
our
got to say
sisters.
that.
You
I
know,
get it.
I know. Look, I am like literally so excited because I know for my students who are Latina as well as my students who, because one little girl told me last week I'm Hispanic. And so I remember the conversation we had about
Yep,
using
I remember that.
Hispanic versus Latino month. And in that moment, I had to say, well, happy Hispanic Heritage Month, to her. And then we sat down and we still read a book on an Afro Latina woman who was able to maximize the world with her contralto voice and beauty of just dazzling the world with her style of Celia Cruz. And so they celebrated and they danced. And then we talked about Tito Puente. Then we started reading about different kids who of different nationalities and ethnicities, and understanding how important it is to celebrate each other. And that's been my mission at my school, is to push all cultures and respect, because our kids never know who they will grow up to be and never know who they will meet. So I'm like a kid right now in the candy store, and I'm like, "Kimbada, kumbada, kumba, kimbamba, kimbada, kumbada, kumba, kimbamba." Yeah. So I'm having a moment over here. Yeah, like, look. All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mac and Chuck.
Speaking of Tito Puente, did y'all see the Google Doodle yesterday?
Yes.
I did not.
Yes.
I can go back to the archive though. I'm definitely gonna check that out.
Yeah, and that
Oh,
was
it's
so
still
dope.
up. It's still up. It's still up.
Oh, there you go. And
Yeah.
there's like a little video that goes with it. It's really cute.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that out.
Look,
So
go
one
ahead.
of the things that made me jump in, because I was contemplating just kind of sitting back and listening tonight. But when y'all started talking about the responsibility that comes along with being a PK, and some of the unfair expectations that are set upon you, and then sometimes you don't get the same length of rope, in a sense. If you know what I'm saying, to you don't get that same grace that other kids have been extended from humans. Now we all got the grace that God has given us. But I definitely just, that was the part that really struck a chord with me, in terms of knowing that there are other people out there with a similar experience. So us being able to to share that community, right here on Nightcap Knowledge, because it might be a kid or a young person that may see this video at some point in the future, having seen the four of us here that had this conversation, and then understand that you can walk in your truth. You can study and show thyself approved, and then you can ask questions in a way that does challenge authority, and not necessarily just toe the rope of the front row. And you know what I mean about the folk that's on the front row, the deacons and the deaconesses, and the mothers that have done things, all the way this time. Like, some traditions are definitely worth upholding. But one of the things that I definitely don't want to do is to uphold something that is traumatic and and unnecessary. Now, if there's a method to the madness, look, I can get with it, and I might have to, get in line and toe the rope. But some of the things that I know, that even me, when my father passed, and the church that he was pastoring at the time, that had been my entire existence as a young person, like born into the church, some of the things that I saw later on in life, and you can probably speak to this, like, y'all still doing that? Y'all still doing that? And to round out my comments, I see it in city government a lot too. So to ask a question after having, given my comments and everything, what are some of the things that you see in our community and our institutions, right? What are some of the things that you see in our institutions that you wish that we would just stop doing, or some of the things even in your own community institutions that you definitely want to shine a light on and maybe change?
Institutions, we're talking about like religious institutions.
I see it in city government. I see it in religious institutions. I see it in HBCUs. I see it in a lot of places. So
I think, there's so much parallel. There's a parallel. So for example, I think back about in my childhood when I was told like I was asking too many questions and like, questioning the authority. That happens in city government. I get told so many times, well, that's not how we do things. Or that like I'm digging too much, or that like I need to just leave it alone. And it's so not real, like, no, we're not just gonna leave it alone. Like, I'm allowed to ask questions. And this was the topic of my law school entrance exam. Actually, it was about the question why, and how we think it's so bad for people to ask why, and we demonize it to a certain extent because we feel like people are asking why, and that challenges you as a person. It challenges your authority. It challenges what you think. But the reality is we should be embracing the why. And I remember at home, I was allowed to ask why. In the institution of the family, in my nucleus, I was allowed to ask why. In fact, I asked why incessantly. And my poor mother, God bless her soul, because I swear she was praying for patience and God was testing her, because I would ask her why for everything. And I needed real answers. Like if I was like, why is the sky blue? She couldn't just be like, oh, because it is. That's the color of the sky. No. I needed to understand that that was the sun reflecting on the ocean. And that's what was making the sky blue. And like, if she didn't know the answer, she needed to go find me this answer, because I said so was just not going to be good enough ever.
Yeah.
And so then you go into the institution of schools, you know, like even as an elementary student, when you start asking why and people start like pounding at you, I wish they would allow kids to be curious, allow them to ask why. Why is not always a challenge of you. And if it's challenging you, question why it challenges you.
I'm sorry. I got it. It's because I get it too. I get it from my kids, and their response is not as in a curious manner. It's sometimes an attitude. And I can tell that it's sometimes at home. It's like, I'll say, well, when you get your papers, once you get your papers, sit still. I'll give the next set of instructions. Why? And I have to remember, it's a kid. I said, because I said so. I said, I'll give the next set of instructions. Why? Because you need to wait to make sure everyone has their paper so I can give the instructions. What, baby, go take a break. Go ahead. Go take a break, because the mama gonna come out in a minute, right? And some of them have learned to do it in a manipulative way, right? Because my kids are very curious, and I take them through adventures with music that way. I take them through adventures with readings that way, right? And so some of the kids, and it's unfortunate, so I have to go back and have that that restorative conversation of, this is why Miss Cannon had to sit you over here. I know you want to ask me why every time, but sometimes I need you to use both ears that God gave you. And that's why you have one mouth, so you can talk less and hear more. And I do have one mouth. I said, why do you have one mouth? And now I got you thinking. So now I'm able to learn from you, and you're able to learn from me in patience. And it's also that patience of, I love that you say kids should be curious and ask the questions, because if they don't, then I'll have a problem. So thank you for reminding me why patience is important. I'm sorry.
Well, I think is one of those things. It's not what you say, is when you say it and how you say it.
Yeah.
And like I tell my daughter, is that it's sometimes when I tell you, listen, we need to, like, and I told her in emergency situations, I always talk to her about this type of stuff. Sometimes you need to listen and pick up on the tone and what I'm saying, and understand that this is not the time to ask 305 questions. It's time for you to get your shit and go. It's like, we need to leave now. When you hear me say something like, we need to leave now, why? Where are we going? Why do we need to leave? There ain't time for that shit. you need to get your bag, grab whatever you need to go, and get your ass in the truck. Let's go. And I think that's the balance of understanding, because I was one of those. I was a curious person, right? I always wanted to, but I also observed. And a lot of times, truth be told, two reasons. Parents don't know the answer why. Just be honest. You don't know, right? So you don't want the child to think you don't know.
Because I said so ain't good enough. You better find the answer.
As your mama did.
No, if you want to know, then you go find it, because that's part of
That's
it.
fine. I'm gonna find it. Then I'm gonna Google it. I'm gonna do it. But I'm gonna find out the answer.
We didn't have Google.
So why?
The other part is,
I'm gonna go in the encyclopedia.
With church is tied to slavery, and how you was taught to question certain things that didn't make sense to you, because they made it seem that you were questioning God or the Creator. But no, because certain things they were taught to us that was passed down was to control us psychologically, so that you could easily be bound physically. So you were like, your question you asked now, you're like, but I asked the guy, I entertained everybody that had a conversation, and I asked the person something, they never answer it. They just looked at me and they never gave me back the answer. You know what I'm saying? So it's sometimes you don't know because you repeat. A lot of times what we do, we repeat what we hear versus what we read. And
you live in your grandmother's. Some people are living their grandmother's religion and not their own.
And so, but you always learn and see. My family was, oh man, church was the church for us was I would say one of the worst places because of the classism hierarchy structure inside of churches, the who's
Mm.
who's.
Yeah.
That's one of the major things.
Who gives the most money in offerings and
Who
tithings?
gives the most
Mm-hmm.
money? Who got the nicest this? But like I tell everybody, before I started working with feeding the homeless, I watched my grandmother feed people that had 12 times as much as we did, because that's what we grew up to do, was to feed folks. So
Yeah.
you learn certain things, and some of it gonna come with maturity. You don't put two and two together until your ass get like, you know what? Now I understand. You know,
And
and
it's also
especially with being a
reading.
parent. But with being a parent, you like, now I understand. When you start having those same conversations, it don't hit you until then. That like, now I understand. So I understand what you're trying um to close the gap, because a lot of time with children, we never listen to children and what they want and based on what their needs are. Because even when it comes to structure and discipline, you will find out more when you find out where they are and what they need, because then you can help meet them where they are. And for me, working in a behavior facility for so many years, we had a child that said, we want you to help us. We want you to help set that tone and talk to us. We want that. Even though we might not, if you don't believe it, just not say that one time. Just let them do stuff and just sit there and look like this. And they were looking at you like, just like, you're not gonna say nothing, you're not gonna correct my behavior, you're not gonna talk to me about this, because they expect it.
Now, why didn't you say that same thing that you told me to do last time, Mr. Mac?
Because you told me
Right.
don't say
It's like,
nothing.
hey, you said you got this, it is trial and error. It's trial and error. It's trial and error. But I think these conversations are conversations that need to be had with youth in the room. I just got a call. I told Chuck about it earlier. 15-year-old was killed in my hometown. We're supposed to be going up there to do our Freedom Summer, our new Freedom Summer project. And we're going to touch on all this stuff, but we're going to have a lot of youth in the room. And these are the conversations that we are going to have to find out what means a lot to them. What motivates them? What are they dealing with?
Yeah.
What are they going through? And how do we create the next city council person? How do we create the next whatever? Because they're in that room. They might not see it now, but 10 to 15 years from down the road. So now we might be the people to introduce that to them, because they're looking at us for the answers. And
this is a whole lot of confirmation today, man. This is a whole lot of confirmation.
Oh, man, listen, the Lord don't make no mistake. We might not like them. Just being honest. We might not like it, but no mistakes are made, my brother.
Each one of y'all have said something that I've said to young people from 4 years old up to probably 24 years old within the past 48 hours.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, each one of y'all.
Wow.
See, our ancestors right now are and I tell people we don't understand it, because again, we just not learning physical health. We scared of mental health, but we can't talk about spirituality and the unknown and unseen, and how so many things, while people say are wise beyond your years, that's not your birth knowledge. That's knowledge coming from your ancestors and those who are speaking through you and putting it in your mind. And they are talking to you and answering. That's why we are gifted to be a part of each other's life, so that whatever my gift is help you, and your gift, it helps me. And like I'm saying, with this sister being on today, somebody's going to be inspired to talk to their child about, you know what?
Yeah,
you can do this. Or someone is going to see it. We all are connected and we work together. And our childhoods and experiences make us and help us become the people that we are. And what you say? Go ahead. What you say?
No, I was just gonna say, you were saying that a child may see Delmarina and say, I can be this. A parent will share that. What keeps you going? Like what is it that, and I'm sorry, Matt, because everything that all of us have said, this is crazy, all these PKs on here. But what is it that keeps you going? You get up the next Delmarina and you say, I have this mission. What is it that keeps you going?
I answered this recently at I was presenting at a conference with a bunch of D9 orgs and Greek life. It was through the Harbor Institute, and we were talking about like motivation, and I posed this question of all of them and answered it as well. And for me, it's legacy. For me, is knowing that like I'm living out my calling, whatever that means, however that shows up, because again, I go back to, I don't know the answers. Like, people ask me what's next and I'm like, I don't know. Ask God. Like, don't ask me. He ain't told me yet, so maybe he'll tell you. Like, so it's living out my purpose, but also a legacy. So I know that like my future generations, my niece, my future children, my future nieces and nephews, you know, they will all get to reap the benefits of like the work that I'm putting in, and they will be better off because of it. The world will be better off because they're going to be better off, and they're going to do great things in the world as well. And so that need to ensure that my legacy is strong and I leave a good foundation for them is a huge motivator for me.
Legacy.
So randomness, you know, we did this on a coalition call, and it helps you find connectivity with people because we all have different walks. So randomness, 3 things before we get off. I want us to answer this. Favorite movie, the song that you listen to that gets you going in the morning, the chore you hate the most. All right, guest. Come on, Sora. You jump it off now. You the guest. Jump it off.
All right. Favorite movie. I have a few that are like top repertoire. So I'm going to go with the top 3, which are all my favorite because my sister and I binge watch these, and I could probably tell you every word to all 3 of these movies. Is in no particular order: Mean Girls, White Chicks, and The Notebook. Yep. Yep.
This is why her favorite movies.
Keep going.
And then what was the other
song that gets you going in the morning?
Oh, that gets me going. So lately, it's been "Break My Soul" by Beyonce. That's been lately, but it changes. I have a really eclectic taste in music, and I can't say like it's one thing. Sometimes it's just salsa in general. That gets me going, especially when I have to do cleaning. So that leads to the next thing, which is the chore that I absolutely despise. There's a couple. I always say I was born into the wrong social class. I should have been born into a very, very wealthy family where we had, you know, people who did the cleaning for us, because your girl is not a fan of a couple of these chores. But I think dishes and mopping, but mopping more. It's the dirty water for me. The mopping dirty water, like just emptying the dirty water. Like, and I have like that bougie mop now where it separates the water and like you just step on it for it to spring it. And even still, it's the nasty black dirty water. Like, I can't. Nope.
Don't talk about it no more, because it's like you about to call Earl, and we don't need you. We see Earl this weekend. We don't want you to call that Earl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tanya, what
then
you
I'm gonna have to clean it up with a mop, and I don't want to do that.
My favorite movie, believe it or not, is that I know word for word is The Color Purple.
That's
that's gonna be my
and
top
Shay.
one. That one and Harlem Nights are like you know, my 2 of my faves. And then a Lion King. So I had to go with those top 3 because Lion King is like up there. The song that gets me going has to be Kendrick Lamar, Mary J. Blige, Now or Never. If y'all haven't heard it, you need to get it. It is a motivating, empowering, and moving song. It's called Now or Never. Kendrick Lamar and Mary J. And the chore you despise, all of them. I just made them one.
All of
You fired.
On the for real. I work very hard, and I had this conversation with my husband. I'm like you, Soror. I've tried to hire 3 people secretly, and he won't let it happen. He's like, "Babe, together we gonna clean this house." I say, "Your ass gonna clean it. I'm not cleaning." I know. I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mom, if you on here for cussing, Mom. I'm sorry. But I'm not cleaning. So I'm with you on that.
You probably apologize too.
I ain't married and live alone, so I could hire someone to clean this house, and I've contemplated it. I have a busy lifestyle.
I'm married, been over 20 years, got children that are adult. I'm still gonna hire one. I just like to come and drink me a glass of wine, light my candles, and enjoy my evening as I digress. So, yeah, I agree with you, Mac. What you got since you asking everybody?
Oh, mine is easy. movie is gonna be Harlem Nights,
Woo.
Tombstone, and probably gonna be this newly added is going to be the new Magnificent Seven with Denzel Washington, because all the minorities lived. All the minorities lived at the end of the movie. So
Okay.
I
I like that one.
and yep, and my favorite song to get me going in the morning, Boosie, Set It Off.
Okay.
That's
Oh.
just energetic. I
My
like high energy. I like high energy music. You know what I'm saying? So Boosie Set It Off. Look at Chuck. Chuck feel it.
You want
Chore that I
to
hate.
You want to run? Okay.
Yo, Mac
The
don't do
chore-
no chores because he's like, I don't have none I hate. I don't do none of them.
Nah, Mac
Ooh.
do all the damn chores.
Yeah, I don't get that. I never understood it. I don't care if man, woman, or child. You got to eat and you got to wash your ass. You got to clean your house. So that's
Yeah.
mandatory.
Which
So
one
I
do
don't
you
give a
hate
damn.
though? Which one
I
do
don't-
you hate?
Wash dishes. So I wash as I go. I never
There
could be
we
that person
go.
that you know how people let dishes
Yeah.
soak, and if you let dishes soak and just leave them in the sink,
You
I
nasty.
would not be washing them. No,
You
when I
nasty.
cook, I wash as I go, and that way at the end of the night, you either got the pot that you got left or the whatever. But no, I don't do that, and I don't believe in just letting shit. No, I can't let it sit. No, that's nasty. We got to go. We got to wash. Got to get it. Got to get it.
Chuck,
So,
what you got?
Chuck.
Hey, my favorite movie. I told it to the boys the other day. Coming to America.
I knew that. I knew the answer to that one.
Hey, I will sit up and watch it all day. Like, matter of fact, when I get off of here, I'm probably gonna put it on. I'm gonna make some t-shirts because we t-shirt pimping this weekend, baby.
There you're right.
The song that gets me going, I think consistently, Pastor Mike's Big.
Yeah.
Man, look,
You sent that to me.
you put that mug on, and when the drums hit, oh my gosh! And if you listen to those words and you can't say that you don't get motivated and be like, all right, God about to do something insanely big, like I don't even know what God is about to do. You get that song in your system, I promise you're gonna do something. And then chores I despise. I would probably say maybe cooking because I don't like to wash dishes.
Mm.
I like
But
to cook.
I'll grill all day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's weird.
So
Like,
it's not cooking, it's the washing of the dishes.
well, not necessarily, because like Shallon has made me the, like, we gotta wash as we go.
Mhm.
I like to cook breakfast. I like to grill. But if I don't have to do dishes, I like doing it more. So like I wash clothes, like Shallon, she don't have to wash clothes. She hates folding clothes. She'll throw them in there, but she's like, all right, folding, that ain't her ministry.
It ain't mine either. It takes me about a week to get
I
that
never
stuff.
understood that, because I try to wash when I wash dry. I dump my clothes and I go immediately try to go ahead and fold and put them away. I gotta do that.
No, it's a discipline in you. May the Lord continue to bless you.
Yeah.
My clothes sit in my guest room bed for a week, kind of respectfully, and it is what it is.
They made the Lord watch between me and thee and get these clothes folded.
That part.
Wow.
We got Lauda is she got a mental note to watch Harlem Nights tonight. She want to make sure that she gets that in her
You
spirit.
definitely need to watch Harlem.
It is the excellence of Harlem Renaissance. You know what I'm saying? And in a movie where we had some shit and we didn't take no shit. I like that movie in the era when it would actually aired. It showed us something different. And it just showed well, people don't even understand how deep it was. The poor white trash officer was so envy of this uppity nigga that he couldn't stand it, that it ate at him. And we see that in today's time. You couldn't stand it. This man was making money and he was living better than you. Even if you was on the take and doing dirty shit, he still was living better than you.
Yeah.
Right.
And it goes back to an age-old saying that how I forgot how it's stated, but your worth if the black man got more than you, if he's doing better than you. how you call yourself a white man if the black man has more than you, type of thing. But it's just how they didn't lay down and didn't take it. They got even at the, and it was funny. It was full of great actors, but they didn't take it at the end. And they they made it happen. I like Django for the same reason. I guess we see what we're going with this.
I know.
I would watch Shark Tale after this, so I'm gonna go watch Shark Tale.
Look,
Okay.
I like Shark Tale too, but I like the cartoons, especially Luck. If y'all never watched Luck, y'all need to go and watch Luck. It's a great new Pixar movie. I think it's Pixar out. So I'm into that too. And She-Hulk. Oh, you got to go watch She-Hulk because she's an attorney.
Really?
So yeah, She-Hulk is the truth. If you're watching it just with the expectations of Incredible Hulk, it really shows the mindset of a woman when you're watching it. So
and she's Latina.
And she's Latina, sure is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I like Marvel. So I'm gonna watch Marvel. I'm gonna watch Marvel because it's Marvel. I like Marvel, but I definitely like the connectivity of how she ended up getting her power.
Yep.
That's dope.
Don't ruin it for me. Stop talking. I'm talking back.
Yeah, don't watch it. So with that being said,
just take back. He trying to ruin it.
Oh, Delmarina, you made her story. We are so happy to have had you on the show today. This conversation is not ending because we are forever making moves and changes around this world, and you are a true vessel of what we talk about when we say we got work to do. So we thank you so much for being here. Everyone, y'all have seen Councilwoman Delmarina López from Chicopee, Massachusetts. She's the first person of color, Afro-Latina, to be elected in the city council. And so we definitely want you all to follow her, support her. Make sure that is your correct Instagram handle, right, Delmarina?
Yes.
So make sure y'all follow her. Jump on that right now. I got a t-shirt for the first person that follows her. So Del, check your phone. Let me know who the first person is that follows you. I got a t-shirt for him. So we want to make sure, not that you follow her and then unfollow her just for the t-shirt. We want you to follow her. Yeah, on the front, because we're gonna talk some real shit. I want you to follow her because I want you to be able to say you were the one who followed her at the start, at the middle, at the continuation of her success, and you now become part of her story. So it's important that we continue these relationships and continue creating these villages around the world, because you never know who you're gonna need. So with that being said, what is your give a word to the young Afro-Latina who will be watching you and motivated by you? What would you tell her or him?
Yeah. So it's hard to not be cliche, because the cliche in me wants to be like, if I can do it, you can do it. But more importantly than like, if I can do it, you can do it. It's if you don't see yourself reflected in who you think you want to be, go become it so that somebody else can go see themselves in you.
Wait. If you don't see yourself, I can't even type fast enough.
Reflected in people who are what you want to be. Go become that so that somebody else can see themselves reflected in you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you don't see yourself reflected in people who you want to be,
go ahead and go back
and watch it. You have to go back and watch the video. You have to go back and watch.
Yeah,
I know what you said. I understand.
Yeah.
The first time you said it was.
Man, look, that's why I couldn't. I was stuck.
It just came from the heart, so I was like, let me try to say it again. But you're gonna have to watch the video for sure.
Bruh, I was stuck because the first time you said it was ancestors present.
Yeah.
And that's why you can remember it the second. Look, I tell people ancestors move and they speak boldly. Yeah, we're gonna have to go back because sis, I don't remember all I know is I'm about to Chuck, get that ready for a t-shirt. Yeah, let's get that ready.
I'm replanning in my head right now, but yeah,
man, what?
Because
you got to start your quote back, Chuck.
Yeah.
You got to start back with the quotes. Posting the quotes. We got to do that. And giving folks their credit. Yep.
Yeah.
Look,
And before we
go
intro,
watch
make sure you put
Luck.
up the flyers.
That's
Put the flyers up.
yeah. Go watch Luck. That what you just said was pivotal to the movie. So yeah, let me know. Send me my DM. Let me know who was the first person that followed you, so we can get their T-shirt to him. We are so honored to have had you here.
We gotta end this on an obnoxious Zeta note. You ready? You ready? I said my soror.
Yes.
You're looking good today.
Well, a Zeta lady looks good every day. Yes, yes. Look at that. Look at that beautiful Phi Beta Sigma. What's up? We got another soror in our midst. Y'all know how we do. Jay is in this in
Jay ready. She didn't got Jay hype.
Yes, come on. Yes. Zeta Phi Beta. Oh yeah.
You gotta start. Y'all gotta start.
Look.
You gotta start it.
Gonna bring out them Zeta Phi Beta spirituals on you. Hallelujah. Hey.
Right.
Because that's a tradition we ain't breaking.
Hey, at all. Hey. That part.
Hey.
I'm sorry.
Being able to recite, lift every voice and sing. It's mandatory. It's not an option to learn this.
All three stanzas. All three of them. All three of them. The Stony the Road. What? Don't have it. What? God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who has brought us thus far on the way. What?
Come on.
All right, I'm sorry.
Watch out,
I'm sorry.
Wait. What? Don't you go in and get that? I'm about to say, don't you go in and get that goddamn thing? Don't you do that?
I stay ready. I stay
Chuck,
ready.
Can you pass the virtual collection plate, please?
Not when I stay ready.
The kind of woman stays ready.
What? Pronto llegará. El día de mi suerte. What? I stay ready.
Well, look, in terms of staying ready, we got to stay ready to move into action as we you hear what I said? We got to stay ready. We got to move into action.
That part.
Stay ready. You ain't got to get ready, baby.
There you go.
Sugar free.
And we've had to prepare and to move into action for one of our brothers who has now joined the realm of the ancestors. We have our friend Will Jenkins. My classmate from Tougaloo College, both Mac and I's classmate from Tougaloo, and we will be doing a balloon release this Saturday at the alumni tailgate. So if you want to participate in that, but also more importantly, he has a daughter, Caitlin Jenkins. We have her Cash App on this flyer. I know that we have this circulating via Facebook and other, Facebook groups and things like that. So if you would like to bless Will's daughter with a little something to, as the old folk would say, keep the hanks off of her.
Hanks off, baby.
You can definitely find this information on all of our social media platforms, and in addition to, if you want to put something in there, love the Lou. That's the little phrase that we're putting in the memo so that Caitlin knows that Will's Tougaloo family has her best interest at heart and has her in all of our prayers. So we will be doing this activity in the midst of all of this right here. As we celebrate the 153rd founding of Tougaloo College. It is also alumni weekend, and you see all of these beautiful people that are assembling to put on the best damn Tougaloo alumni weekend ever.
Yep.
And I'm talking about we're gonna honor our classmates, we're gonna honor our ancestors, we're gonna honor those who have come before us that have paved the way, and all of the people who are still here doing this work, especially for Tougaloo College and the role that we continue to play in Mississippi, in the HBCU community, and in this country and in this world. it is good for us to come back from whence we came.
Yeah.
So this is that time. We are definitely going to turn all the way up.
That part.
But we will also have time to reflect, to reconnect, and we will have time to really chart out where we're going, because it's space to do all of that at Tougaloo College. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen,
What about Friday night, Chuck?
Oh, by Friday night, you didn't text me to ask me about Friday night, but I am always prepared, young sir. So I will present the Friday night activities. We're going to share the screen right now. So y'all give me a second to get that pulled up, and here we go. Friday night, we will be on the yard at the block party. It is the Welcome Home 90s style block party with live performances by Tougaloo College alumni. We've got Jordan Williams, who's a comedian. We've got Bridget Hathorn Shield, D.O. Dub, and Ashley B, along with your boy on the tables. I do believe that the as Mac would say, the real Mac of Jackson, who is now the Mac of Vegas, Shane O'Mac, will be in the building. Big Vic, my DP, along with Mac's big brother, Freaky Fred, they are hosting this event in terms of them being former yard runners. So they're encouraging all of their people to come through. But this is an all-star lineup. Well,
Sweet Lou gonna be there.
Sweet Lou is gonna be there. All right, we don't have Sweet Lou listed here because I picked one Noop and put another one in, but I knew that Shane was coming this year. We hadn't spoke with Sweet Lou, but Mac has. So we do know that all of our yard runners will be coming, and they're bringing their families with them, their friends. This will be a welcome home 90 style block party Friday night, 7 to 11 p.m. And then we will move folks down the street to the Village Kitchen because it's Feel Good Friday.
Y'all gonna make me get on the road and come late.
You ain't gonna hang out.
My show in at 11:30 here in New Orleans. I will be lying. Don't play.
You ain't gonna kill nothing. You ain't gonna let nothing die.
Don't play. I'll be in that thing. Trust me.
Well, look, it's definitely gonna feel good at Friday at the Village.
Well, I definitely know we going where we gonna have us a good old time. We going where we understand where we come from, so we know where we're going. We understand that we're gonna cut up at Tougaloo this weekend. Delmarina, you got that first person? You sent them to me. Make sure you text.
Not yet. I'm over here looking at flights.
Listen,
just to make sure that you get the whole rundown.
Just watch the video. Just watch the video when we post it, because
watch the recap video. You ain't got to experience this.
She ain't ready to hang out at Tougaloo.
She said it ain't happening if she ain't there. She said it ain't happening.
My old stomping grounds of Tougaloo. I gotta go over there. Yes, I do have the first person. It's JAI.love83.
Let's see, JAI.
Oh wait, she's still on this. Jamaris Epps.
Oh, Jay.
Jamaris.
You know I already got you when I get in town, boo.
Jamaris.
That's Jay. That's
Jamaris.
Soror.
How you say it, Jamaris?
Yeah, that's Jamaris.
Yeah, Jamaris. That was number one. Soror. She said,
"I'm following." She be quick with it now.
Yeah, she was real quick. She was like, "I look good today." She said that, so I'm gonna follow.
Boom, strike like that. So as you can see, we got more activities, and of course, this link is also floating around the internets. The alumni tailgate, it will be the largest that we've ever hosted. There will be a lot going on here. It's bring your own everything. Tanya Boyd Cannon will be hosting. And apparently she gonna get there late Friday night, so she gonna host some Friday night. I don't know.
I tell Chuck whatever events he have, I'm hosting them. I'm hosting all the events.
And we cuts up.
We
hosted Josh wedding and we cut up.
Look, I told Josh them, I was like, I'm gonna be, and he was like, because they wanted me to sing, but my schedule was just like I was gonna be out of town, and then I made my way there. Man, I said, Chuck, let's have fun. You would have thought we were kids again. Like, we believe in having a good time. So this weekend we're gonna have a good time at the tailgate. At Saturday, Sunday, All I'm gonna tell y'all is to be ready. Bring you some Cocopedia.
Wikipedia.
I'm getting my arms ready. Chuck. Look, I'm getting my arms ready, bro.
Cocopedia. That brunch Sunday ain't gonna be. All I'm gonna tell you this: the best singer on that brunch Sunday, baby. Just wait.
So are we gonna talk when we get offline today? 'Cause I'm looking at these flights right now, and we might be able to make something happen. So as soon as we get offline, we're gonna talk about this.
And there it is. And there it is.
Let's do it.
Y'all can't tell me. And some of the activities, like of course, Silas, DJ Nasty show, they've got chemistry. On Saturday after the brunch. No, that's Sunday after the brunch. Saturday after the tailgate, we've got chemistry. So there are activities that Tougaloo alums that have their nightclubs, their bars, they've got other activities. But in terms of like the official lineup, we got unofficial things, we've got unspoken things that may happen. I
mean, I don't even know what we're doing or when we're doing it. Like, that's what I got a Sora for. She could figure that part out for us. I just got to show up. She can figure out the I-10. I'm good.
Yeah, so we have food. We have food all weekend, right?
Yeah.
And we have everything set up, and that's why we're telling everybody, like, listen, this year we make sure that we got food for the tent. We're gonna have libations for the tent.
For our tent.
For the block party, like I said, we taking it old school. We got everything out there. And Alfred, even though he's HBCU, he's gonna be rolling with us all weekend. Matthew, Blue Sky Still Waters, providing massages the whole weekend with Tougaloo. He's rolling the whole weekend with Tougaloo, set up with the table and the chair, ready to go.
Us. Our tent.
Us's.
So if you come over there and you don't put anything in the tip jar,
say that again, sir. say it for the people in the back.
All right. One thing I know, that because of the conversation that we've had with Delmarina, and I know these other two people, that your home training, it will be on display. Don't get put on Front Street if you show up at our tent and you ain't bring nothing.
Baby. That conversation, I don't think y'all ready for. It ain't gonna even be a conversation.
Cause that lady that I sleep with.
Look, I get scared of her.
Anything I bring is gonna be store bought because I'm a good.
No,
you'll get some store bought cookies and cupcakes.
hey, I don't give a damn if you bring ice.
Look, if you don't contribute,
bring some Sonic ice.
Yeah, if you don't contribute, you don't digest. Like that's straight up.
Truth be told, I plan on hitting up Fred, but get some Sonic ice.
Sora, look, at Mississippi Greek Weekend this year, we had a party with a purpose, right? So it was bring your everything. And it's just like it is this time. It's bring your everything. Bring everything out on your tent, your chairs, your table. Don't worry about music because we have music. Bring your hand sanitizer, your face mask, whatever you need to be comfortable.
You gotta bring hand sanitizer.
That.
We got hand sanitizer to give away.
That part. All I'm gonna say is this: that party with a purpose. I said, Chuck. He was like, "Bring your everything." So I decorated our table.
She set it off.
Look, I'm bring what?
She represented. She set it off, man.
You know what? You gonna make me go ahead and do like we did at the Blues show, Chuck, and go ahead and get our own porta potty.
Look, let me tell you something. Go ahead and get that because we're gonna need it. But let me tell you something. I tell everybody on Saturday, bring everything. Decorate your table how you want to decorate it. Bring your decor. I will be bringing some Z-Fi everything to put on our table. Don't take my shit, but it's gonna be on display. And I have some drinks for those who choose.
I just got the merchandise to sell.
I got mezcal. Cause I'm gonna behave. Jack be getting me in trouble. Jack get me jacked up and in trouble. So I'm doing my mezcal and water. See what I mean? And we're gonna have us a good time. I'll have some vegan foods for those who are vegan. If you don't bring hummus, don't touch my hummus because it's gonna be a hummus among us. You're gonna be fucking humming. Don't touch my shit. So look,
hey, go watch Mo Ammer on Netflix.
I love that.
He's Palestinian. and he talks about hummus. And he like the lady was in the
I love that
show.
show.
Like, it's
His
chocolate
mama
hummus.
makes him. His
He's like,
mama
what did
makes.
what you just say to me? You just insulted my whole family. Chocolate hummus, you know, and
He's so hood though.
oh man, he's so hood, and his
so
girlfriend is Mexican, and it got all of the jokes, everything you think of.
It's
Wow.
so good. I don't know if I like his stand up as much as I like his TV show.
I like his TV show. The TV show.
I love the TV show.
Well, I'm going to watch that.
Yeah, we need to invite him on the show too. I think it'd be.
But the whole weekend while we having fun fellowshipping, we're gonna be doing what other thing, Chuck?
We're gonna get out the vote. We on GOTV, right?
GOTV.
Right? Okay, all right.
Yep, get out the vote. Reminding, election has consequences. Leadership matters.
Leadership matters.
We want you to understand that. So we're gonna be pushing that all weekend. Right now, we are switching gears from voter registration to GOTV.
How many folks we registered?
We registered about two. I think Sabir said it was about 265. So
brand new
265 brand new voters. We had a couple folks that did a couple of change of
do a little clap sound effect to that. 265.
Oh yeah,
we rolling and we doing the polls. Big shout out to Ira Vaughn, the legendary GOAT of drum majors from Jackson State. He's providing 2 buses for November 8th to help folks get to the polls, and we're gonna shout him out in a later date. But you have no excuse. Excuses are monuments of nothingness that are used to build bridges that leads to nowhere.
Those who
want to
what?
Don't make us start. Don't make us
they
start.
Amount to
I feel
what?
the chill. Hey, and my tail dog is rolling with me all weekend. I'm telling you, we too hot to touch, too cold to be whole. I'm telling you, we're gonna be rolling all weekend.
It's so nice to have to name him twice. God damn it, DJ George Tuck is in this movie.
We in this kick ass.
Well, we about to go somewhere. Where we about to go, y'all?
Bed.
No, we don't.
Go to get the money, baby. Where the money reside.
Wait.
Where the money reside, baby? When I tell you, like the word on your boy Cannon, we gonna get to Tougaloo College this weekend. That's what we getting to, and we gonna get to where the money reside, baby. Y'all come holler at us. Tougaloo Alumni Weekend. Nightcap Knowledge might go live. I don't know what we might do. Ain't no telling, babe. Ain't no telling. Next week we'll have Dr. Frederick Smith of ThriveWorks Counseling, psychologist and mental health counseling. You know him, Dr. Fred in this thing. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.